Okay, this is one for my friends at Bwlchgwyn Primary School. I'm going to show you tomorrow. It's too dark at the moment. I'll show you tomorrow what I have to do each day to the bike. Keep the bike maintained and so that everything runs according as it should do. But when I get into my hotel or if I'm camping in the tent, one of my last jobs of the day is to clean my helmet. During the day, awful lot of flies collect on the visor there. And although I keep on cleaning them during the day, at the end of the day, it needs a really good clean. Otherwise, it would just permanently mark up and then you just wouldn't be able to see through it after a while. But I've got a question for you guys as well. On my helmet here, if you can see on the top there, there is like a little slide thing there, something that slides. And then there's a little button on the top there as well. So there's a button and a slide, okay? And they do something on the helmet, okay? I'm going to tell you at the end of this video what that something is, but so probably the teacher will put this on freeze or pause or hold or whatever, so you can all have a chat. But that slide and that button does something very important. Only on perhaps more expensive helmets really, but on the type of journey I'm doing, I need it basically because the only clue I'm going to give you is that you use that slide and that button in certain weather, okay? So it could be very hot or it could be very cold weather. One of those two extremes, if you like. So that's the only hint I'm going to give you, but I'll tell you at the end of this video. Now, yesterday, asked you one of the questions was that every day I wear something, but it's not clothes. And it comes in pairs, always comes in pairs, and it protects me. So I'm assuming that you've had a bit of a chat about that. Hopefully you've come up with different ideas, and this is what it's all about. And I have about 50 packs of these, and what they are is ear protectors. Going one of each ear. There you go. And the reason that you use one a day, or sometimes even more than that, is because they get a bit dirty and a bit worn out, basically, for the type of riding that I'm doing. Probably if you're only going out on your bike for an hour a day, probably that's normal, it wouldn't be so bad. But I'm riding for 7 or 8 hours a day, so by 7 or 8 hours a day, this little packet of earplugs here has had its day. It's finished with. So I bring with me about 50 pairs, somewhere around there. Loads of them there, a big bag of them. About 50 pairs of them, and that's what they do. They protect your ears because even though the helmets are very, very, very well designed, they still let air in. So you get a lot of wind noise as you go in. In fact, the faster you ride, the more wind noise you get. Plus, you get an engine noise, and you're out in the elements. It's not like driving in a car where you're protected by windscreens and windows and all the rest of it. When you're on a bike, you can smell the countryside. You can smell city centres as well, which is pretty dirty really because it's full of diesel fuel and all sorts of things. So when you're coming into a town or into a city, you're breathing all that in and you're smelling it as well. So you feel as if you're, even though you're inside a helmet, you feel as if you're very much part of the outside world. So there you go. So if the teacher's going to put me on pause, perhaps if you haven't got a pause for teacher, I could just go like that, couldn't I? Just pretend to be paused. But I'm assuming that she will put you on pause. So I will now explain to you, if you're back with us now, what this little gadget does. Okay, I'm guessing that quite a few of you have possibly guessed that it's ventilation, which would be a very, very, very good guess, by the way, because a lot of helmets do. But this is actually a very super duper helmet. So what actually happens is when I slide that forward, this happens. Can you see that? So that is a sun visor. Okay, so sun suddenly comes out unexpected. As I'm riding along, I can just put my hand to my helmet, flick that forward, And there it is. Hopefully you can see that. You probably get better views of it during the week in any case, because sometimes I do videos where I keep the helmet on. It's a very, very, very hot day. If I'm doing a video, it's actually easier for me to stay in the helmet rather than be taking it on and off. It just is. And then the little button, there you go. Press the button and it pops up. Hopefully you can see that on the video there. I'm hoping you can. And I bet you anything, a lot of the adults would have guessed this one, and they won't know what it is. They'll all think they're clever and oh yeah, ventilation, but it's not. It's a built-in visor, so it saves you wearing sunglasses or the likes of that, because it's very, very, very bright sunshine in Germany today. It's been very, very, very hot, so that saves you, and it probably protects your skin a little bit as well, but it certainly means that you can see things. So hopefully you will find that interesting. Tomorrow I'm going to go through at some stage during the day what I need to do with the bike and how the bike looks after me, which is very important as well. Hope you're enjoying it.